you looking to learn more about your spiritual journey? Are you on a healing journey? Have you tried conventional ways of healing but didn't get the results you desired? If so, this podcast is for you. My name is Reverend Dr. Jackie Cope, and I'm a metaphysical minister, intuitive guide, and teacher. Here at Raven Rabbit, we believe that your ancestors, spiritual guides, and divine self are ready and eager to help you heal and prosper. We approach life, healing, and happiness through a holistic, indigenous spiritual lens to create the lives we want. Join me to radically change your life today. Hello, welcome back to the Wellness Studio podcast. Today's episode is a really special episode because it touches on something that many women experience, but we don't always get to talk about honestly. We talk a lot about pregnancy and birth, but not so much about what happens after, the emotional, spiritual, and identity shifts that come with being a mother. If you've been following my work, you know I've created the Life After program because I believe every major life event changes us. Birth is one of the most powerful of those moments. So today I am joined by beautiful Jessi, and she is going to share her life after birth story. This is a real conversation about what changed, what surprised her, and how she's making meaning from the experience. So welcome to the show, Jessi.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Before we begin, can you tell everyone a little bit about you, who you are, what life looks like now, and how long ago you had your babies?
So, I'm Jessi and I live in Sweden and on the countryside in a beautiful house. And yeah, I have two small children. One is 2 years old and the bigger one is almost 6 years old. And yeah, we're living here together with my partner, Papa, and yeah, otherwise I'm having my own company and working a little bit, like a few hours every day. And yeah, like we're having like beautiful events here at home and retreats and like a lot of beautiful work, but not so much work. Otherwise, I'm mainly mom, home, taking care of the home, taking care of the kids and life and flowing around.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
sounds
it's
nice.
beautiful. Beautiful to be here in the podcast and get to talk about
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah. Jason and I too, we live out in the country. We do aspire in the future to do like host retreats and stuff as well.
nice,
It's
beautiful.
something we're working towards. So, why don't you take us back to the moment your baby was born? What do you remember most? Maybe you want to separate like
Mm.
each birth too, because you've had two.
Yeah, exactly. So like I feel like first when I tune into the first day or moment when I was holding Elva, my bigger daughter, I can feel like this sweetness in the field and also like a feeling of like, oh, now she's here. Yeah, now she's here. It felt quite natural in some way, but it was also um yeah, feeling like after this long birth, everything felt quite fast. Also, then suddenly, like there was this baby, and it was like yeah, like being a little bit in a shock, I think. But
Yeah.
also, I mean, definitely, and also, it felt also like a little bit like even though it was sweet and lovely to land, I also noticed that um, yeah, I felt a little bit numb or like disconnected from all of it. It was happening so fast and like yeah, I was very tired and it felt a little bit abstract suddenly, even though it was sweet and
Hmm.
everything was very looking very well and like also I was quite happy, but it felt a little bit numb and disconnected, so not fully
Yeah.
there. So a little bit like in a yeah, yeah, not really real.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I had a
Um,
similar feeling with my first son I had, that disconnection. Like I
Mm.
was excited and everything
Mm.
was good, but then like I had a C-section the first, both of them were C-section, but not planned. I did not want that. And I like went into shock and my body was shaking. And I guess it's
Mm.
a common thing that you completely go in shock. And I was scared. I didn't even want to hold the baby because I couldn't even like hold myself. And my mom finally just shoved the baby like at me because she knew it would get me to calm
Mm.
down.
Yeah.
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 So it was
Mm.
really crazy.
Yeah. That is really, yeah, and also feeling quite numb. And then with this like extra oxytocin that I got, I was like very like looking super energized and I was happy. But when I compare it to the other birth and experience afterwards with my other child after the other birth,
Hmm.
it felt like not real at all. Like there was like this like yeah, I was so happy holding my baby, but I felt disconnected and couldn't
Hmm.
really take it in. And that was really, yeah, like afterwards, yeah, quite sad to realize that there is this disconnection that I had to kind of build up again afterwards to actually connect again.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of women are afraid to talk about that because we're supposed to
Mm.
like instantly be loving them and present, and your body just went through so much.
Mm. And also,
And
like the birth is so intense, and suddenly the
hmm.
baby is there, and suddenly everything is happening. We kind of forget about what happened during the birth, like
Hmm.
like on the surface, and then we have the yeah baby yeah and yeah now I forgot a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
it's true. Yeah, you it's like we ignore like, oh, your body just went through so much. Here's your baby, start being a mom. It's like,
Mm.
wait a second, I need a moment. I had a similar experience with my second son, but I knew with the C-section that that's what happens to me because of my body's just in absolute shock. So
Mm.
I was telling them like, give me the baby now because I could feel those shakes coming on that become out of control. And they were trying to like, gosh, it's hard for me to remember because the second baby was way more traumatic. And they were trying to give him a shot or give him something that they needed to do in a certain amount of time. And I was like, nope, you're not doing any of those things. Give me the baby now before I start like shaking out of control.
Mm.
Yeah, to like
Wow.
calm me down because I know that there's that shared, bond that like it's
Mm.
very calming.
Yeah.
So before becoming a mother, what did you imagine life after birth would feel like? Did you think about it?
Honestly, I think I had no idea.
Yeah.
I always knew, okay, I'm gonna be a mom. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna have kids at some point, and maybe I will be without a man. Maybe I'm gonna do it by myself, like my mom. This
Mm-hmm.
was kind of my idea. There was not so much more I thought about. Just there will be kids, and it will be great.
Same.
And
I thought the same thing.
and yeah,
I
it's
thought the same thing. I told my mom I don't want a husband. I was raised by both my parents. They've been married for over 30 years. But I told my mom I don't want a husband. I just want kids.
okay.
And then I'm gonna be a mom. That's it.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And with the first one, I didn't think about it at all. So I had you must have been around the similar time if your baby's 6, mine is 5. I had him in 2020.
Oh yeah, me too, actually.
So
2020.
I
Yeah.
didn't think about anything at all with our
Mm.
pandemic shutdown. I went to the doctors 3 times before having that baby. I only had 3 checks, and I just didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. What are women always saying, like the doctors and stuff? It wasn't a big deal. But then when I got there, everyone acted so weird because it was COVID. It was such a
Mm.
mess, and I did not think about what it would be like directly after. And it was very shocking
Yeah.
because, yeah, I had an emergency C-section because his vitals were going down. When they cut me open, they cut his cheek across the face, which I was more concerned when I found out. I'm like, is his eye okay? It was like centimeters away from his eyeball.
Oh God.
I was like freaking out. I didn't do well with the C-section at all. And then within 18 hours, I was back at home because of
Wow.
COVID. It was
Mm.
like a whirlwind,
Wow.
big time. So I didn't
Wow.
imagine any of that stuff.
Wow.
And I did not do well after but either
Exactly. Like
C-section.
n no one knows like before like in what we're no one really knows what's going to happen in birth, what could happen, all
Mm-hmm.
this. Oh my goodness. Mm. And
Yeah.
then afterwards, and wow, then you're home after 18 hours. Wow, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit lucky in Sweden with during the COVID time. Actually, we also were allowed to bring our doula into the hospital,
Oh,
and they
nice.
were not like wanting me to have a mouth protection, and they were actually that was actually feeling, I guess, like usually. So
Mm-hmm.
that was actually, I think I was quite lucky to be in Sweden. I think in Germany the restrictions were at that time a lot more tight and
Mm-hmm.
controlled.
Yeah. Yeah. Ours here too in America were, and it was very stressful. I'm
Mm.
lucky I got to take my mom with me because they were
Yeah.
talking about no one could go with you. And I definitely needed my
Yeah.
mom through all of that.
But good that she could come. Wow. Oh
Yeah.
God. Mm. And going alone, like in
Oh,
labor,
yeah.
going alone to
That
oh
would be
God.
crazy. Yeah.
Already changing location is such a weird thing actually for us animal, for our animal body. And
Mm-hmm.
then to go into the car, like what kind of animal would do that? But of
Mm-hmm.
course, there's of course a reason also to go to the hospital then, but then to go alone, I mean,
Yeah, that would be too wild.
uh,
So, what actually surprised you about the experience of becoming a mother?
I mean that's a big. There's so many aspects. I think one big. I mean, first the birth was really shocking. Like I had not imagined this amount of pain. I had no idea. Like I had a doula who said before to me, like, yeah, yeah, kind of like it's just, I mean, it doesn't have to be painful for everyone, of course not, but it's like just to talk a little bit about it, but whatever. That was the first shock, but it went well. The baby was well, I was well, so it was told to be a good birth, but it was traumatic and very long and intense and not nice.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first things, and then then with motherhood the big surprises started to um, in the first time of motherhood after the first birth.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a huge thing for me to shift into letting go of my old life was really big.
Mm-hmm.
Um, before that, I was quite a free running, free spirit. I do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, be completely excited about that as well. And that was pretty hard for me to not have any time at all for myself. And then everything else, what was also coming up inside of me in the
Mm-hmm.
letting go, and also all the bottoms that got pressed through um, yeah, different relationship patterns, dynamics that I didn't see before, that were really coming up to the surface when I
Yes.
actually got became a mom. And then the relationship to my own inner child, all the energies that started to move, all the pain that came up, and all the sorrow and everything, and also all these fears of like not doing it good enough, all these doubts. So it was so much happening like inside of me, like so much coming up that I was not, that didn't expect that. And then
Yeah.
and the birth was so representative for it that I couldn't also handle that I couldn't. I was kind of really trying to cope from everything that came up, and um, I had so much resistance to allowing the new life in, and so much resistance to the moments. And my answer was, because it was so intense inside with what came up, what I couldn't
Hmm.
handle, I thought the outside is the answer. So I really felt like I'm not getting my needs met at all. But then I really wanted to get my needs met and kind of not deal with my stuff that were coming up.
Hmm.
And like, yeah, trying to build this. Yeah, I wanted to actually have things in a way so that I don't need to feel what's coming up. And that was also quite surprising, I think.
Hmm.
And yeah, I felt like I never really felt. Suddenly, I was sitting there like, wow, I don't know if I have been ever feeling so egoistic also. Like, even though it was
Mm.
also needs that were also having, of course, a place. I mean, when you're that tired and not sleeping, it's like,
Yes.
but it's the fine line between like, of course, you need to get to rest and get your needs and that met, and that's not the part.
Yeah.
But in general, I felt like yeah, I felt like there was just a lot of preference needed to things to be a certain way. I couldn't accept the tiredness, and that has been
Hmm.
changing very much. Like after my second birth and after the second pregnancy, when I kind of really started to make a decision um, to really lean into life and to really take care of this natural process of pregnancy,
Hmm.
and to really allow myself to rest and to nurture and to, yeah, to really listen. And I felt like I was like actually landing in life
Mm.
into more stillness, and not like in this like kind of more pressured and rushed and scattered. All of that was new before, um,
Yeah.
but I landed in something, and then it got, yeah,
You're making me think of this commercial that was really funny a few years ago I saw of like when you have the first baby, it was this mom packing the perfect baby bag and getting the stroller and having a outfits and toys and like you have to have everything and like this over preparedness. And then she's all ready with her first baby and then it goes in time and it's her second baby and all she grabs is a bag of Cheerios and a diaper and she's ready.
yeah, exactly.
Like how
Uh,
it's just like, oh,
it's,
okay, we're just doing what we're
that's
doing now.
yeah, that fits very exactly. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like too you were between like you want to be the perfect mom and you want to do all of those things. And also it was hard for you to like change your how you said you could do whatever you wanted. You made your own schedule. Now it all changed because the schedule revolved around the baby and not you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was hard.
Mhm. Yeah, and accepting the tiredness. I think that's what's also what I wanted to share was like first time I couldn't handle that at all, and now I mean it's still challenging, but now I feel
Hmm.
like I can get up in the morning even though I have been sleeping not well, and I can still manage. Like I can still
Yeah.
I can still handle, and that's not easy. That's like I love to say like this is surrendered strength, and it has a balance. Of course, it's not pushing through. Of course, we're gonna go and rest, or I'm gonna go and rest then after a while. But when I need to be there, I'm still there, even though I'm tired. And before that, I had a very hard time to actually even show up. Sometimes I like my, I think and I was giving a lot of my, like, it was really hard for me to handle.
Yeah. Hmm. So one thing I've noticed in my own life is major life events can change your identity. Did you feel like something in you shifted after birth?
Um, yeah, definitely. Like as I like coming from maiden to mother, and then the birth, I noticed that like over the time of the first moments or phase of motherhood, like new aspects of me were coming alive, like the essence or the qualities of being a mom, and
Yes.
this came alive. And also these other parts in me of like yeah, the new responsibilities. And also in my work I started to like, there was like a lot of momentum in like creating my work, what I'm very grateful for. It was a very like potent time, actually, like a lot of life force. And suddenly I have been creating this like amazing business. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was a lot of energy and movement and momentum in this first phase. But it was also that it felt also very scattered, like the parts were coming alive, but there was like an underlaying pressure or fear. um, and yeah, the scatteredness of like, not the parts were not really integrated or not really grounded into life, but more like, oh, a little bit like, oh, and
Mm-hmm.
trying hard to make things happen. And like not really, a little bit like in a fight and flight, actually, for I think
Oh
almost
yeah.
4 years of, when my daughter, like 4 years of motherhood were basically fight and flight.
Mm,
And that was really hard. And so, but
yeah.
the new identity parts were coming alive. So there were like glimpses of it or tastes of it and the beauty of it, but scattered and not really in it. And it got a lot more, like I started to like really integrate this during the second pregnancy, when I
Mm-hmm.
decided to give birth by myself. And that was really the moment when I decided, when I felt like, okay, so there's no gambling. And if this is going to happen through this body, and then I felt it's like really like rooted, deep rooted calling inside. And I felt like, okay, now I'm going to listen to what is needed. And then I started to really, okay, rest. Then I was resting like my ass off. Like I was resting I was resting so much. And yeah, I started to come back into a natural rhythm.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I loved how you said at the very beginning that you had these essences of qualities coming up. Because that's what I think too, where people get confused about identity. It's not that you so much like identify as a mom. It's you identify as those essence of like caring is what, when you were saying that's what popped in my head. Like I've become a lot more caring than I used to. I've become a lot more patient than I used to. Like I'm not so rigid of like the house needs to look this way. We got to get everything clean. Like it's okay. I could be more patient. I could be more understanding. Like all those pieces. So I like how you explained that.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Was there a moment when you realized life was different?
Um, yes, I think it started with the first moments of realizing that I don't have the time for myself anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was for me like a big moment to what I'm actually now. I'm very grateful, of course, for this surrender and
Mm-hmm.
going beyond that. And that was exactly what I needed. But I think that was the moment when I realized, yeah, it's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And in the second,
definitely.
I think in the first part of motherhood, yeah, suddenly it felt very hard. And then in the now it feels like not as hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also something to now actually also really allow myself to feel, oh, it was hard before, and that has its place. And now it's not that hard, even though I'm challenged. And
Hmm.
even, of course, it's not easy, but it's not, it feels like I'm excited about it, about the growing. And this is a completely shift that has been happening that I'm really grateful for.
Yeah. So what parts of yourself feel stronger after becoming a mother?
This like, wow, mothers. Like, hmm, I feel, I think the first is like the, yeah, integrity, like for standing up for 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 my kids, for like taking care, and like for what I, yeah, like integrity to stand up for what is my truth.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's a good one.
And surrender,
Hmm.
huge strength, like letting the old life behind in that way, and like shifting from now to then, from yesterday to tomorrow, kind of into that shift. This is huge letting go. That is
Hmm.
incredibly strong and not easy. And also to be patient and have
Yeah.
compassion when things need time. So to really like, some things just need many years.
Yeah.
And I also, the actually to look inside and to actually feel that I can actually meet what's happening, what is moving through, that I actually can meet it, and that I even can grow from it.
Hmm.
And yeah, this inner discernment also from listening to the heart and the soul and life instead of only the mind.
Hmm. That's a big one. Well, you have so many strengths. I love that because yeah, that's so good. I didn't have a list that long in my head. I was like, unconditional love is what felt stronger for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah, but I definitely exercised integrity. I just didn't like consciously think about it because my first one is diagnosed with autism. And we noticed about around he was 2.5 that things were different and child developmentally wise. And so that integrity of like, we got to go fight for what he needs and help him as much as we can. So I just never really consciously thought of it in that way because it just felt like the right thing to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So motherhood is often talked about as joyful, but it can also be overwhelming and emotional and deeply spiritual. What did you experience internally during that transition?
Yeah, so it's very like both motherhood phases very differently. Again, like the first part, like the more scattered and a lot of things coming up, and spiritually, I think also a little bit more disconnected and more thinking that things are more outside of me.
Hmm.
And also like, even though I felt like there was like an openness and the guidance and a connection to it, I still felt like not really, yeah, it was just more not really connected. And I think, yeah, also after the birth, after the second birth, things feel more spiritually integrated into life and very simple. Like daily life is the spiritual practice and the teacher. So it's
Yeah.
not so much, yeah, it has become, yeah, very a lot more simple, I think.
When you
Like,
say connected, I do some assuming, but I should ask, did you feel disconnected from your body or from your baby?
Oh, both, I think.
Both. I just
In the first,
automatically assumed
in the
baby.
first, yeah, in
Yeah.
the first time of pregnancy, birth.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Either one.
I think both actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's just kind of an out of body experience for you, kind of surreal.
Yeah, I think I was like in a big shock after
Hmm.
the first. Yeah, because also I was moving to another country. We moving a
Yeah.
lot around here, so it was like not only to mother, it was like a new language, also like
Mm,
Swedish, and like it was like my nervous system was completely, and I
yeah.
couldn't really handle like what was moving. Like I was just trying to cope and like putting it down or like trying to make the outside feel okay.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I think I got into the connection after the second birth, what was really beautiful.
Hmm.
And yeah, very beautiful, intense, still very intense and not easy, but I got like really invited to like an inner deeper space and center
Yeah.
that really helped me and guided me, and also the connection to the baby. I'm just so, yeah, incredibly grateful for, yeah, for this experience of life happening.
Yeah.
And then he came into my arm, and it was like feeling like an instant natural flow and exchange and connection. And that
Hmm.
has also helped me very much to heal also the connection with my older daughter. So
Mm.
it was like parts in my heart and my in my field were cracking open, and I could really lean into this and take that with me. And
That's beautiful that it
yes,
went back to the older daughter
yeah,
too.
Something happens in life that changes everything. Maybe it was illness, maybe a divorce, maybe loss, maybe a moment that made you see the world differently. And after that moment, people expect you to go back to normal. But you know something most people don't talk about. There is no going back. There's only life after. Life After is a 9-week live experience where we explore what it actually means to rebuild your relationship with life, with meaning, and with yourself after something significant happens. No forced positivity, no pretending everything is fine. Real conversations, real tools, real spiritual grounding for navigating the life that comes next. Before the doors open, I'm hosting a free live webinar where I'll introduce the core ideas behind Life After and help you begin thinking about your own story in a new way. The free event is on March 20th, 2026 at 10 a.m. The registration link is in the show notes. If something in you has been wondering how to move forward, this is the place to start. After the webinar, enrollment for the full program opens 321 March 21st, 2026. Doors will remain open until April 13th, and that same day we will begin our first live call together. If you've been sensing that your life is entering a new chapter, come learn what life after can look like. Register for the free event using the link in the show notes, and I'll see you there.
So did becoming a mother change your relationship with spirituality, intuition, or a connection to something bigger than yourself, like God or universe?
yeah, um, yes, definitely. Like as I said, like in the first part of motherhood, it was lot more disconnected, a lot more outside of me. And then through the pregnancy, when I decided I'm going to do it by myself and there's no gambling, there was just me and life and nature and the baby and spirit.
Hmm.
I felt like first I rested so much, and then I felt like I felt this like very clear guidance and trust, and that was like, of course, I didn't know what's going to happen and how it's going to unfold, but I felt this, yeah, deep trust and guidance, and very much a connection to the baby, to
Hmm.
his spirit. It was like
Mm.
so. It was like really like wow. It was so beautiful and so clear, and then we went through the pregnancy and in birth. Like this communication was so clear, and then during the birth, I got like into this like deep inner seed where I was really breathing into, where I could really cope with the pain. And
Yeah.
and this was, I have never experienced something that deeply and real. It was so real also, like it's there. And
Hmm.
so yeah, that has been like really impacting my, like, that was really like an invitation for me also afterwards, when I had this like the connection to this inner seed. It's not that I meditate now a lot or like having like this like enlightened state or whatever, not at all. But it's like to have a glimpse of this like seed has helped me so much to actually cope, or not cope, but to actually deal with the things that were coming up afterwards.
Mm.
So I could, like, what was moving inside, the energies, the pain, the wounds, the triggers, the situations and relationships and whatever. I finally had an anchor inside myself where I felt like, okay, I can meet it, and it can move through. And that
Hmm.
was a huge spiritual initiation. And
Mm.
I'm so, yeah, devoted to this. And I can still feel this seat and this
Yeah.
inner. And that's so beautiful. It's and I got, yeah, I got into it as nature, just nature unfolding.
Where were you at in your spiritual journey with the first birth?
Where I was there.
Yeah, where were you at in your spiritual journey? Were you
Oh,
already on it on the
yeah,
first birth or no?
I was definitely on it
Okay.
since quite a long time
Long
actually,
before? Okay.
but it was like not at all on the depth. I think I had a huge like, yeah, I think I had all these ideas, and it was a little bit naive maybe even,
Hmm.
like
So it was
also
just
going
like
into
blossoming.
going into birth also a little bit like, yeah, easy peasy. So I think that was also like a spiritual ego that I couldn't like, yeah, I thought I thought I knew something, but I
Hmm.
had also the first years I had no idea. Even
Hmm.
though I also started my business actually at that time, what is like very like connected to healing and all of this. So there's no, of course, there's no like right and wrong on where we are,
Yeah.
and this is it's, and I still felt like I got it, had a connection, but it was a lot more out there, like a lot
Hmm.
more, yeah, a lot more, yeah, not so really into, yeah, what is, or
Okay.
a lot more hiding, a lot more avoiding, and
Okay.
mm,
Okay. So you were on your spiritual journey. I just was curious.
mm,
Um, s- I was on my spiritual journey too with the first, but just starting and like really trusting it. I've always been spiritual ever since I was a kid, but like in a very conscious effort since I was 29, 30, and I had my first one at 30. And he definitely changed a lot for me spiritually. Like I told you, he has autism, and I look for resources to like try to better myself and what I could do. And I came across this podcast called the Telepathy Tapes, and it's all about how autistic children will telepathically talk to their typically mothers, but can talk to any caregiver telepathically, like dads or anyone who's close around them. And I started to realize like a lot of the things that I think my son he'll know, and he'll come up to me and say the craziest stuff, and I'm like, how did he know that? I've never even talked
wow,
about that. So it's
wow,
made me have to be way more conscious of what I'm thinking around him, because he's always listening. And it's not something I ever thought would happen or that we would be dealing with. One of the really clearest times it ever happened was we were taking him to school, Jason and I was thinking in my head, like, maybe after we pick him up from school, we'll take him to the trampoline park. That would be nice. Just thinking in my head. And he says in the car, oh, we're going to school and then the trampoline park? Thank you, Mommy and Daddy. And Jason and I looked at each other and he's like, what? Like, Jason straight up no, because I didn't even talk
Mhm.
about this. And I finally told Jason, like, that's what I was just thinking about. This exact moment, I was thinking, oh, that would be nice.
Mhm.
And he does that to me a lot. So, like,
Mhm.
very interesting. It's
Open,
very,
yeah.
very interesting.
Mhm. Pure and open. Mhm.
Yeah. Were there moments you felt like you were still trying to understand what the experience has meant for you? Like the actual experience of pregnancy or birth?
I think I'm generally curious about yeah, how birth is impacting our parenthood and motherhood. And I felt
Mm,
it so clearly representative almost for my motherhood journeys, both connected to the birth. It was so first time I was pushing my ass off, literally,
mm-hmm,
during birth. In motherhood, same.
mm,
I didn't rest anything. It was a very long labor. I didn't rest anything in motherhood. I was
mm-hmm,
giving away my power to authorities around me. I did the same in motherhood.
mm-hmm,
I yeah, and I was numbing myself and not wanting to feel the pain in birth. Did the same in motherhood. And
mm,
that's so that's and for the second birth, yeah, I was really allowing myself to get into the flow and to find that place of letting the pain be, accepting it, and
mm-hmm.
letting it wash through me. And this is my practice now. And I feel trust in that life knows how to unfold and that my body knows how to unfold, even though I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
And this is I, what is also now, like what I also feel now, like that I know that life knows how to unfold. And I rested, for example, actually, like many midwives say, it's not really allowed to rest in labor. But I was like researching a lot before and really also hearing a lot of mothers talk that it's actually very beautiful to rest in between the waves. So
yeah,
in between, and in
that makes
between the,
sense. Like take a moment, wait for the next
yeah,
contraction. That makes
and
sense
then
to me.
yeah, and then I was sometimes even almost falling asleep during the in between the waves. So
Mm-hmm,
that's also a big part of my of now actually having more feeling more resilient.
mm-hmm,
Um, that I know there's times of intensity where I relax into my inner seat
mm-hmm,
and accept that there is pain and that it's perhaps intense, but I feel like yeah, and then I know okay, now it's time to rest, and then I rest. So it feels like more balanced, and that was also, for example, during um, during yeah this birth. What was? Can you say the question again?
You had the most beautiful correlation. Um, like when you're still trying to understand what the experience meant for you. And
exactly like I feel curious about like how birth can have an impact on or like influence our life if we yeah
I've
consciously
never,
or subconsciously
yeah.
intentionally or just by itself and
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's I feel very very curious about it and excited and I talk a lot with mothers who struggle from not expressing their needs or like feeling they push through they carry everything on themselves they don't like
Mm-hmm.
this is really I very often feel there's such a connection to their birth experience that I feel
Mm-hmm.
like so curious about like to really look at this and yeah it's possible to even if we don't have that natural birth that is inviting us for healing and perhaps that's what your course is also about that if you have an experience where you are actually like my first birth, um, it's so valuable to actually get to see how this experience of this, for example, birth has impacted your motherhood journey, and to look
Hmm.
at, yeah, how to integrate it, and how to look at the, yeah, the connection between motherhood and birth. And I think for me it would have been very helpful if I would not have had this like um, natural birth experience, that is, yeah, to really get some guidance in
Hmm.
how to bring these parts back to me, and how to let go of the pressure and carrying all of this and pushing through and not getting any needs met, giving away the power to the outside. And this is so common topics connected to birth in a traumatic, yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard the correlation like you've made, and I think it's so interesting that the way the birth can play out could be patterns that are going to play out in our motherhood. Like I love your examples of all of that.
Yeah, and birth is like being in hypnosis. I mean,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah, I've
happening
heard
through
that.
us.
Yeah.
The body knows how to do when we're getting out of the way, but it's not just a quick thing. It's like an orchestrated hormonal
Hmm.
happening in the body, like the cells, that it's all communicating with each other to open up. And it's like you're so high on hormones, and it's so
Yeah.
orchestrated, and it's so alert. And we are meant to really be like inside, like to make, like, actually to go in a dark cave and where it's safe and let it happen. But we're so alert to sounds, to our nervous system, and everything is so high alert, um, that it is not only like a spiritual woo-woo portal. It is truly
Hmm.
like it's a biological and chemical and physical
Yes.
event that is a, yeah, like in hypnosis, like being completely, it gets imprint, it's a high possibility that has a big effect on,
Yeah.
yeah, being really in the being so like, yeah, being in the memory of the field.
Yeah. I love that. That is just an amazing way to put it. And how your different experiences shaped your mothering. So one of the things I teach in my work is that life events are not just something that we survive. They are something we eventually learn to make meaning from, like how you just showed with this example. And have you found yourself reflecting on the experience and asking, like, what did this change in me?
Oh yeah, a lot, I feel
Hmm.
like, for the, like, I mean, it was so suddenly I noticed, wow, I can actually allow myself to enjoy to enjoy it now, even though it's hard.
Hmm.
But it took a while to actually, yeah, come to that moment. And
Hmm.
um oh, can you ask the question
Oh,
again?
that's fine. Were you thinking about reflecting on your experience and thinking, what did this change in me?
Yeah, and also like, the parts that before in like from the first birth and motherhood, the parts that were coming up, like the essences of the new me,
Hmm.
they were just like growing into, like more, like I have been like growing more into. But there was something else that I wanted to say that I don't know, maybe I lost it.
If it comes, you could say it.
Yeah,
So when you look back now, what do you feel this experience has taught you about yourself?
that I'm so much more capable than I think I am.
Hmm.
And that life is actually way more simple than I thought.
Mm.
And yeah, that I'm, yeah, and that I'm part of life unfolding and one
Mm-hmm.
with it, not separate of it. And that
Yeah.
nature knows how to unfold and live, and I'm my body and my being is part of it, and I can relax into this, and I feel like held by it. Like I love this like example with like almost feels like one with the flowers. Like
Mm-hmm.
the flowers also like I feel yeah being nourished by life, by the weathers, by all weathers, by the rain, by the sun, and
Mm-hmm.
just like growing in the earth.
Yeah.
And like also there's all in its time. Like there's no force of opening or blooming, but really just being there
Mm-hmm.
and receiving life and growing with it and cracking open with it
Yeah.
and not knowing about how this growing is going to be.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So for other women who are about to make this transition, what would you want those women to know about life after birth?
Ah, that whatever is that that they can trust whatever, and even if they don't trust, it's fine. And that is probably if it's a new mom who has no kids,
Mm-hmm.
that it can be very hard, but that she can handle it no matter what. Her body knows how
Yeah.
to birth a baby, and there will maybe there's a situation where it would be good to go to a hospital or whatever, but the body knows how to do it, and I think I would have wished for this very clear message during my first labor. What was also back labor, she was laying the other way around, so her head was pressing on my lower spine, so it was like
Oh,
constantly
okay.
pressure on my spine. But I
Yes.
heard like one birth story about a woman sharing about it, and she had a doula who just said to her like, "Hey, it's very hard. It's even harder, but you can do it. It's still a case of
Mm-hmm.
normal." And this sense of trust in birth, this I feel is so valuable for us women to hear, because as soon as there comes like one fear, what is also okay, it has also its place. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone is doing their best. So, but I really have the trust that the body knows. And of course, there's situations when you go to the hospital, of course, but to tell this to a mom, first time mom,
Mm-hmm.
and even if it's hard, she can do it.
Yeah.
And same in motherhood, like be yourself, trust your own rhythm, like whatever everyone else is saying, trust your own rhythm with your baby and your family, find your own rhythm with life
Mm-hmm.
is good.
Yes.
And yeah, claim your voice in it and your needs in it, and at the same time, yeah, listen to what feels soft in the field. And
Beautiful advice and things to know. So as we close, what does the phrase life after birth mean to you?
accepting death.
Mm, that's a deep one.
Yeah.
Death of your old life, I'm assuming, with the
Yeah.
birth of the new life.
Yeah, and we never know that there is this
Yeah.
trust. I felt like there is the trust. I know my body knows how to birth,
Hmm.
but then there is also the acceptance of death is included in it,
Hmm.
and that's one part. And then when also what was very beautiful when during my second birth, when the light of the spring equinox came at 5 o'clock in the morning, like I opened my eyes and I looked and I saw the light and I thought, now he needs to come. And then I got up and then I came one really intense wave and I shortly stopped, like, and thought, oh, what if I tear? And then I thought, it doesn't matter. And then it was like a light explosion. And then I felt like this is how it feels, how to die.
Mm.
And it felt so beautiful.
Yeah. I've never heard
And
that perspective either.
I think that's a very hormonal orchestration again, and the
Mm-hmm.
connection to the divine and life and death and birth is
Mm-hmm.
so close, and maybe dying feels like being born or giving birth.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know, it was just like an inner feeling. And then
Mm-hmm.
also when the placenta was born, I was like in a shock, but also in a bliss.
Mm-hmm.
But also my mind got very mental. So my mind was very fearful, but the
Mm-hmm.
situation was very amazing. So it was really
Mm-hmm.
like also what I meant with discernment, what is the heart and what is the moment actually looking like and what is actually the fearful mind. Because my mind created a huge story about the placenta, and I think I was probably processing like some ancestral connection to, yeah, I don't know, there was some kind of connection to being afraid of dying, I think, in that moment. And my mind got very mental about it. So I had to, in my postpartum, really, really meet this. This was something I was not prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
And this also shows me that we feel so much trust in the unfolding, but death is always included, even though it was in my, there was not, it was like very mental, but it felt very present in that moment because the energies, it was so high. So there was the
Mm-hmm.
bliss, and then there was the fear of dying, the bliss, the fear of dying, the bliss, the fear of dying. And I was by myself at home, so I was really confronted with this. And that was
Mm-hmm.
really interesting to feel because, yeah, I lost a little bit of blood also, but
Mm.
it was not, it was, yeah, and it was really like, it felt like life wanted to show me something also. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know, I don't know about life. It's not in my hands really. And
Yeah.
life is in life's hands. And
Yep.
I give it to life. And that means also
Mm-hmm.
accepting death and life after birth. It feels really much like accepting death, also in all these other ways of dying into the new life. So there's a lot of life and death.
Yeah, your answer initially shocked me, but then this is a conversation Jason and I have a lot about the spectrum. Nothing is ever just one thing, it's the whole spectrum. And so if you have birth on one end as the one extreme, the other end is going to
Mm.
naturally be death. And that makes perfect
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Hmm. Even though I've never heard it like that, and I'm sure there's many people who have never heard it like that either.
Mm.
And so, what is one message you would give to a woman who's in the transition right now?
Who is or has already been giving birth
Yeah,
and
who's and the
first is
new
first time
mom.
mom. Um,
Yeah.
Take your time and take your space for your rhythm, like listening to what is your rhythm and what is life asking you to lean into, and how, what are the areas where you feel like you can soften a little bit more into for your baby, for yourself, for the situation. And like what is more the heart, your heart saying in that, like when you notice the mind is getting very active and fearful about so many needs are not getting met, and how can you find like these moments for like coming back to yourself and like what is actually true to you and what is actually real, and then really being honest and kind to yourself with what you're feeling. Like everything is welcome, nothing has to change. letting
Hmm.
everything be, whatever is coming up, and yeah, being very like, yeah, just letting it be. We're so often like trying to change our moods or wanting things to be
Yeah.
different, but like to just letting things be and to see what's coming up in this, like if there's also coming up resistance, but to see how what feels like, yeah, soft for you, even when things are hard, like making a clear discernment and decision of, do you want to be present there with your child and breastfeed? Do you want that? Do you want to breastfeed in the night? If yes, how can you move through the resistance if there is resistance? And be kind to yourself. It's okay to have resistance. It doesn't make you a bad mom. It's
Hmm.
nothing wrong. And it's safe to have resistance and to move through the resistance. And how can you, if you want to soften into like relaxing into what is, instead of trying to change it directly, because I remember that I so often I wanted to change something about it,
Hmm.
but actually what I have been really feeling a lot of healing and actually softness and release was actually happening when I was in the moment where I felt resistance, but I made a decision I want to be there, to actually allow myself to stay and face the pain, face what's coming up.
Hmm.
That's kind of like really experiencing the birth after the birth that way, like when
Hmm.
there's stuff coming up in resistance or challenge, to make a conscious decision, is this now where I want to be, or is it actually my intuition saying no, I should actually really rest, because it's a fine line of like really listening to what is actually really needed right now. But so often I find myself actually just having resistance even though I'm at the right place, and how to soften into this and trusting this is the right place where I meant to be. Whatever is
Hmm.
moving through, I can relax and allow it. And I have been noticing that life and motherhood becomes so much more easy when I was allowing myself to be there really, and to move
Hmm.
through the resistance, because then I felt like more anchored and in where I was, communicate with my partner, and yeah, and not to, yeah, when you feel like you carry everything on your shoulders, what are ways for you to feel that you are actually held by something greater, by the intelligence of life, and that you're feeling, sometimes we cannot really feel connect with this, and this is why we feel we are separate and alone and have carry, and that has its place, and I fully understand that. And how can we like give this backpack back to earth, and back to
Hmm.
mother earth, and back to life,
Hmm.
and trust that we are held in this, and then to notice like how, yeah, how motherhood is actually allowed to be more easy. And even though if also many people say it's very hard, and it is also, it's not easy, but the resistance to it makes it even more easy, hard. And because motherhood itself is just a big change to what is before, and when we don't
Hmm.
accept the change and we have resistance to what is also okay, um, especially also when our birth has been very traumatic, um,
Yeah,
then yeah, to see how we can accept where we are now. Yeah, but yeah.
very beautiful. So, how could listeners connect with you?
Um, they can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and
Wonderful.
yeah, that's my places right now.
I will link those in the show notes so people could
Mm,
easily click those and get
mm,
access to those.
mm. Exciting.
Yes. Well,
It's so
thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you for sharing your
so
story
beautiful.
today.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for asking all these beautiful questions. It was really fun to feel
Good.
into it, and yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So, conversations like this remind us that we are not alone in these life changes, just like you were saying. And if you're listening and if you experienced a moment that changed everything, I want you to know that there's a path forward and there's always life after. If you want to learn more about the Life After program, check the link in the show notes and stay tuned because we're going to have more exciting episodes. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening. Expand the life, healing, and happiness of others in your field by sharing this episode. You can get more of my content and other helpful tips by following Raven Rabbit LLC on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Be sure to comment on Spotify and answer the episode's question so I can keep creating content you love and desire. Thank you so much.